Greetings, everyone, and welcome. October the 11th, 2025. And yes, Vladimir Putin has stated the USSR is back. In fact, it never left. Due to the foundations of our society laid by Peter I and Catherine the Great, it doesn't matter if it's the Russian Empire, Russia, the Soviet Union, it doesn't matter. We're all the same state, and we are militaristic, and we are building on the foundations of those sovereigns that went before us. Yes, that is what he said in a staged questioning of why he took the generals to the place of Peter and Paul. In addition to that, Medvedev spending time with Kim Jong-Un at their huge celebration, North Korea going all in. And ladies and gentlemen, I have incredible video for you to see out of North Korea. You're not going to believe it. Thank you for being here. Thank you for liking, commenting, and subscribing. We appreciate each and every one of you. Let's jump straight to it. As you see the thumbnail, I am all in. Mr. Putin, the USSR is back. Well, the USSR never left. Putin is questioned, like, why did you go to the place of Peter the Great? And he talked about the historical efforts that they made as founders of this great empire. And yes, we do the will of our people, but we are militaristic. You have to hear it for yourself. Let's go straight to it. This is Putin. And I think most people miss this. The fate of Russia, to a large extent, is always exclusively in the hands of the people of Russia. But now in the forefront, at the front, in the direct and figurative sense of the word, it also depends on our military, and they solve problems of a fateful nature for our country. And the guys at the front, directly on the front line, but of course also the commanders. And yes, I met them, as you noticed. I met with the commanders of all of our groups that are fighting on the line of contact. And of course, I invited them to the Peter and Paul Cathedral, the Cathedral of the Peter and Paul Fortress, and specifically to the tomb of our sovereigns, the Tsars. And indeed, first of all, we laid flowers at the tomb of Peter the Great. Now, why? Why do we do this? Listen, because Peter the Great laid out the fundamental foundations of the modern Russian state. Whatever it was called, the Russian Empire, the Soviet Union, but the fundamental foundation was laid by Peter I. Our military as a whole, both the commanders and our soldiers, the officers on the ground, are essentially defending what Peter the Great created in his time and what his followers then strengthened at different times. Russia's fate took different forms. It became larger and smaller under Catherine II. She actually has a grave right next to Peter the Great. Russia has made the largest territorial acquisitions as is known. So we pay tribute to those people who made a unique fundamental contribution to the development of our state. So there you have it. It's direct, point blank. We are the same. And he's praising Catherine the Great for great territorial acquisitions. And the guys at the front right now are militarily defending Peter the Great, Catherine the Great, Russian Empire, Soviet Union, Russia, whatever you want to call it, it's all the same. Now, let's put on top of that North Korea. You see, most of this was happening while the world has been watching, and with rightful attention, to the ceasefire in Gaza. We're working through, potential peace there, pulling back of Israel. In addition to that, the instability in the United States, the economy went, or the markets rather, went down the drain. The threats of massive tariffs on China, so much happening But we're missing these huge stories that are happening inside Russia and North Korea. So let's get to Kim Jong-un. Kim Jong-un met directly with Medvedev. Medvedev put out a video. I'm not even taking the time to translate it because all he did was say, I met directly with Kim Jong-un. I gave him love from Putin, and he gave love back to Putin, and we are one team. We support each other politically, militarily, economically, socially. We're one. He did say Russia will strictly honor its obligations to North Korea under the Strategic Partnership Agreement. He says things are getting tough for North Korea, but North Korea can depend on Russia. He says also North Korea will continue its full support, and it's very important to us in Russia for our special military operation, and we honor all the Korean soldiers who defended the Russian soil. And Kim Jong-un made sure to send his love back to Putin. Now, I promised you guys some video on this. This is unbelievable. Well, I guess it is believable. North Korean state TV broadcast an emotional ceremony of Supreme Leader Kim Jong-un bestowing medals on his soldiers who fought against the Ukrainian invasion in Russia's Kursk region. And during that meeting with Medvedev, Kim Jong-un assured that North Korea will always support Russia against Ukraine. Ladies and gentlemen, take a peek at this video. And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. You have now been a part of North Korean state TV. Yes, that's what they're broadcasting. Now, in addition to that, I do want to close out with something that is very serious, and we need to pay attention to it closely. And that is the partnership between North Korea and Russia, which is legit. And if you for one second think that North Korea doesn't have stuff, they have stuff, and a lot of stuff. In fact, we saw the military parade. You probably heard about it. They're intercontinental ballistic missiles that can go around the world and strike America, and their new MLRS systems and all that. I'm not going to waste your time with that, but I do want you to pay attention to this. These are mobile drone launchers like Shaheeds. You can see here in the images in the military parade, and I'm going to show you one clip of that military parade as we close out. But these are concerning because we can see the world shifting to complete dependence on drone warfare. Even the United States yesterday coming out talking we're woefully behind with drone warfare. Of course, Ukraine, Russia leading in that technology. Iran, also great technology. But now we're seeing North Korea. Where do you think they're getting their technology from? Russia. So is it going to be good on the drone front? Absolutely. It's going to be very good. But now they're just producing stuff left and right. Where do you think those things are going? They're going straight to Russia, of course. Now, one thing you need to pay attention to, and I want to give you 10, 15 seconds of this because I can't handle but so much of it. But the North Korean military parade, they were waving in unity the North Korean flag and the Russian flag. And ladies and gentlemen, they were not marching to North Korean music. They were marching to Russian music. In fact, it's a song called Serve Russia. Take a peek. This is that 80th anniversary. Look in the front of that. You can see the Russian flag and the North Korean flag. And that is the song Serve Russia. So, ladies and gentlemen, that's where we're at on this Saturday afternoon. There is a lot happening that I think is being missed, and we need to pay attention to it. Critical strikes are continuing on infrastructure in Ukraine and in Russia. I have some serious information I'm looking at right now to share with you. Make sure you have the notification bell on. That's what is coming next, unless there's breaking news that we need to go to straight away. Thank you for all that you do. We appreciate each and every one of you. We'll be back shortly.